This week on my power and a half hour call, I profiled two different people. And the first person that I profiled was a young lady by the name of Cassie. Now, Cassie, at the age of 23, decided that she wanted to travel all over the world. She wanted to go to every single country. And that's exactly what she did. She didn't have any money at the time. When she came up with this plan, she figured it would cost her $198,000. After a year of planning for this trip, she was able to save up a grand total of $10,000. Now, that's far short of what she would need. That wasn't even 5% of what she would need to travel all over the world. But guess what? She didn't allow that to stop her. I see so many people that talk about traveling and they can barely even get out of their town, much less outside the country. And this young lady, starting off with absolutely nothing, was able to devise a plan and execute her plan and go to 196 countries by herself. Okay? If you look at a lot of the reasons why we come up with as to why we can't travel, we say that, we come up with all these different excuses. We don't have the money. Here it is. She didn't have the money either. But she saved up for a year. She saved up $10,000. And then she figured out, okay, you know what? I'm going to go on Google and look at some of the other explorers, people that have been all over the world, and reach out to some of their sponsors. And that's exactly what she did. And she was able to get the funding that she needed to go all over the world. And it's just an absolutely amazing story as to when you make up your mind to do something, what it is that you can do. I mean, there's absolutely, when you make up your mind and you give it all your energy, there's absolutely nothing that you can't do. And this young lady is a testament of that because she was able to go to 196 different countries in the matter of a little bit more than 18 months. He talked about, for most people, they spend their weekends just locked up in the house watching Netflix. They decided, okay, this weekend I'm not going to do anything. I'm just going to sit in the house and watch a bunch of binge watch Netflix all weekend long, and that's going to be my weekend. And Cassie, in the story that I read about her, talked about her weekends where she would go to two different countries in a weekend, not cities. Okay, not cities. She would go to two different countries, and in each country, she would go to at least five different places. Now, this young lady did this for 18 months. That's how she was able to go to 196 different countries. Just a testament as to once you make up your mind to do something, because there was nothing special about her. She just made up her mind that that's exactly what it was that she was going to do. The second person that I profiled was a guy named Pascal. Now, Pascal came to America in 2011. That's what, about 5, 6 years ago. And he was able to, and he came to America with 50 euros in his pocket, which is the equivalent of 53 US dollars. So he came to America with absolutely nothing, but he had a dream to open up a restaurant, and that's exactly what he did. He not only opened up a restaurant, he opened up two restaurants, one in New York and one in Atlanta. And he also came up with the pizza diet. Okay, so he has a book that he's going to be releasing in a few months. And he's gotten coverage all over the world, and he's a personal chef for YouTube, for Madonna, for all these different singers and whatnot. And just another absolutely amazing story. A guy that came here with 53 US dollars, 50 euros, and was able to make so much happen in such a little time. And it's just a further testament as to when you make up your mind to do something, if you make up your mind to do something, there's absolutely nothing that you can't do. And it just reminds me of how, in my times, I've come across, I'd probably say three different types of people as far as people that make things happen or don't make things happen. The first person is like Cassie and Pascal. They don't know how they're going to do it. They probably don't have all the resources, but they figure out a way to get it done, right? And if you look at most really, really successful people, that's exactly what they do. A lot of them don't have all the resources to get started, right? They don't really know exactly how it's going to get done. They may set some sort of a plan, but generally plans change, right? But they make up in their mind that they're going to do it, and then they figure it out along the way. The second person is the person that wants to do it, but guess what? That person is just afraid to leave the starting blocks. They never ever leave the starting blocks. They spend all of their time just planning, 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 planning. And thinking about everything that can possibly go wrong, and they need to have a plan for everything, and they never ever start. They just never ever start. And then when it's all said and done, the race is over and they're still at the starting blocks. They never ever start. They got the intention to start, but for whatever reason, usually it's fear that paralyzes them. They never ever start. And the third person is the person that doesn't even go to the starting blocks. This person has absolutely no belief, and it's a shame. And many of us fall into that category, and we come up with all sorts of reasons, excuses, and whatnot, but we never ever start. And the only reason why we don't start is because we don't have that belief. And that's why at the beginning of my power and a half hour calls, I always profile at least 2 to 3 different people every single week. And I've been doing that for over 100 weeks now. So if you go back and re-listen to any of the old shows, you'll hear at least 300 different profiles of people, because I believe that this is the best way that gets us at least to the starting line and gives us the motivation to start. When we hear these stories of people like Cassie, that, when she devised her plan to go all over the world, she had absolutely no money. Okay, she had absolutely no money. And even after a year, she only had $10,000 saved, which she estimated that she needed 198,000. But guess what? That didn't stop her. She still made it happen, right? Or Pascal came to America with 53 US dollars, 50 euros, right? And had a dream to start a restaurant, and he more than did that. Now, with 6 years later, probably a little bit less than 6 years later, Pascal has 2 restaurants, and he has a book coming out. He's been featured in newspapers and magazines all over the world. So it's just a further testament as to, when you make up your mind to do something, there's absolutely nothing that you can't do. And I want you to think about the 3 different people that I talked about, right? The first person that they just make up in their mind that they're gonna make it happen. And that's exactly what it is that they do. They just make it happen. They don't know how they're gonna do that. They don't have all the resources. They may not have the best plan, but they have that hunger, that desire to make it happen. Second person that just stands there at the starting block. They have all intentions to go forward, but they just never ever make it across that starting line, because of fear, because of whatever it is. They plan to go forward, they talk a good game, but when that starting gun goes off, they just don't move. That fear paralyzes them. And then the third person that doesn't even go to the starting blocks because they have absolutely no faith or belief in themselves, right? They have absolutely none. And they're like, it would even be a waste for me to go to the starting blocks because I'm not going to go anywhere. There's no way I'm going to win. There's no way that I can make it happen. So I want you to think about those 3 different people and figure out which one you are. And here's the thing, regardless of whichever one it is that you are, you can change, right? You can change. And that's why I highlight these people, and I highly suggest you go out there and study some of the really most successful people, because what you will realize is that a lot of them probably had similar resources to you, which are probably none, right? If you have no resources. A lot of these people that have done absolutely amazing things had no resources, but they just knew that if there was a will, there was a way, and they could get it done. And that's what gave them the motivation to get started. And that's why they're at where they're at right now. All right. Hope you guys got much from that, and see you next week.